Hey everybody, good evening. So here we are, FitLife with Kelly stretching series. Tonight is lesson number 2. So if you guys tuned in with me last night, we went over dynamic stretching as well as static stretching. So just as a reminder about what those two were, the static stretching are the stretch and holds where we are really trying to increase flexibility and increasing that range of motion. Whereas the dynamic stretching was the stretching that you would do before a workout to really kind of warm up that body. So remember, dynamic you do before exercising, and ideally you're warming up the body in the movement that you're going to be working it in. So if you're going to be doing squats, you want to make sure you're warming up the knee joint and the muscles connected to it, so those quadriceps, the hip joint, the glutes, the hamstrings, etc. So remember, dynamic is warming up. Static stretching is done either right after the workout, short holds right after the workout, or ideally on non-strength training days to really increase that range of motion, increasing that flexibility, all right? So tonight we're going to do foam rolling. Now foam rolling is a great thing to do proactively and reactively. The more you do foam rolling proactively before you start feeling strains in the body, the less strains you're going to develop in the body. So kind of the little bit of a corny analogy I give, and many of you, my clients have heard me say this, but it's like a little kid when you're going out for a long car ride and you say to them, can you please go use the restroom? And they say they don't have to go. Most kids, if they actually go into the restroom and try to go, something will come up, right? So it's kind of resetting the body. So it's like that with foam rolling or stretching in general, that a lot of times you might not feel like you really need to do it, but if you start stretching, you're going to realize you are sore in certain areas, and the more proactive you are at getting those little soreness areas out, means less likely that you're going to really feel total strain and be at a point where you are having to skip your workout, or being really sore during the day. So foam rolling, again, really do it proactively, and there's going to be less tears if you do it proactively and not tear, like tearing a muscle, tears strolling down your face. Because foam rolling, when you do it and you're very sore, a lot of times it can actually be quite painful. All right, so we're going to get started. So 2 foam rollers, I reviewed these last night. 2 foam rollers that I have. I don't have the black one, I have the white and I have the blue. So remember, the darker the color, the more dense they are. So the white is really squishy, has a lot of give to it, so it's good if you have a low tolerance for pain. So the white, kind of is a beginner foam roller, the white one. Blue is a medium density, so this is the one I'm going to be using tonight. And again, just as a reminder that the black one is a very dense foam roller. So if you use the black one, just know it's going to hurt a lot. So it's the blue one that we're going to use. So the way we're going to go through our stretching tonight is we're going to go through a series of our muscles. So if you don't have the foam roller handy, or if you end up tuning in late and you want to kind of tune in for the educational part of it, once the live Facebook feed is done, it will be saved on the page and then it will be posted on my website, fitlifewithkelly.com, and you can go back and just do the full stretching workout when you have time. So tonight is going to be about 10 to 15 minutes is what I'm aiming to get it done in. The other tool I am going to show you guys, which I love too, this is called the Tiger's Tail. So Tiger's Tail makes a series of stretching products as well. This is a great one. Basically, it's a very expensive rolling pin, honestly. You can use a rolling pin out of your kitchen as well. And it's a little bit more versatile, it travels easier, and you can really roll in on those muscles. So next week I'm going to give us a small tutorial on the actual Tiger Tail itself, but I know a lot of people have asked me about this one. I know we have these at Orange Theory as well, and a lot of people aren't using them correctly, so we will do a little tutorial on that. All right, so we're going to get started with the foam rolling. So we're going to start off with the back of the body. So we're going to be doing your back, your booty, and your hamstrings, as well as your calves. So a couple key things when it comes to foam rolling. I'm going to angle the camera down a little bit more. When it comes to foam rolling, a lot of times you'll see people in the gym, or maybe this is you too, you get up on it and people just start rolling back and forth, and it becomes just like a nice comfortable massaging action. And if you're proactively stretching, that is okay to do if you're not tight at all. But ideally, this is what we should be doing. We're going to do both legs together, and then we're going to go into single. So you're going to be up on those hamstrings, and you're going to basically do a scan. So we're slowly rolling down. You're lifting your feet off the ground. Ideally, hands are for support. Now, as we're doing that scan, if you find that you cannot have the upper body strength to hold yourself up, no problem. You're just going to bend one leg and go into single leg, okay? So again, making sure you can see one foot is down, and you're going to use that to help guide you. But ideally, first we're going both legs. That's 50% pressure. And we're just doing a scan to kind of find where we might be sore in those hamstrings. If you find that you get to a part that's really sore, you're going to pause and you're going to hold for 20 to 30 seconds. Now, we're not going to do that tonight because my sore spots are going to be different than yours. So for tonight, I would suggest you just come with me, through a basic rolling. And then if you find that you are excessively sore in certain areas, by all means, after the video, you can go after those sore spots yourself. So again, we're just scanning. Find and see if you're excessively sore in any of the areas along the hamstring. We never want to roll over a joint. So when you get down to the top of the back of your knee, you want to pause, and then you're scanning back. So you want to scan back and forth about 3 times, find those sore areas, and then if you're able to, we go into that single leg. So bend one leg, and then we're going to really try to shift a little bit more weight onto that leg. And this is where you kind of get into your own body manipulation. So you're going to really start kind of leaning your body a little bit down to one side. Again, we're scanning, looking for those sore spots. And then rotate inward, so a little bit of an internal rotation. Good, because even though we're going after the hamstring, don't forget the hamstring then feeds into your abductor and adductor, your inner and outer thigh. So we will get to those a little bit later, but we want to make sure that we're getting all areas, and that hamstring does wrap around just a little bit. All right, so we're going to be just going, you're going back and forth, and now let's switch to the other leg. So this is kind of an upper body workout too while you're doing this, because you are using those shoulders quite a bit to support your upper body. So on your own, if you ever need to, you can do one muscle group that requires that upper body strength, and then go into a group that does not require you to be supported up on those shoulders. And if at any point, if you really needed to, you can just come down and just give a little bit of a release. So again, most important thing is you're doing that scan, 3 times of the scan, and then if you get to a really sore area, you hold for 20 to 30 seconds, roll off of it, find another sore area, and do a 20 to 30 second hold again. Each area that's very sore, you want to try to hit it at least 3 times. All right, so scrolling back and forth. All right, so those are the hamstrings. Now we're going to go into the booty. Now this is probably the one that most people actually really enjoy the stretch on, because it's the one that's the most sore. It's pretty easy to get yourself into position, and if you are really tight or sore in the glute areas, this is really going to feel good. So again, we're keeping even pressure to start with. And you're just going to roll to where the top of your hamstring meets the bottom of your booty. And then we're just going to roll it forward just to where your tailbone is. You don't want to roll completely over that tailbone and then come forward. So you're kind of doing a little bit of a bend forward and come up on top of the roller, and then a little bit of a hip movement forward. So again, right now we're just scanning. Now you're going to notice that there's little ridges, and that's the different muscles in the glutes. You have glute medius, maximus, and minimus. And so as you do a little roll right at the top there, you're going to feel it roll onto a different section of the glute. Now, because we're doing both glutes right now, you're not going to feel any real, probably significant pain, because we're doing even weight distribution on both of those sides. So again, you're just scanning, just kind of acknowledging how they are right now. Now we're going to start shifting over to one side. So you're going to slightly rotate over. One foot stays down on the ground, so if you're shifting to the left, your right foot will stay flat. Your left foot kind of leans a little bit. You can see my feet here. And you're rolling back and forth. Now it's probably right about here is where most people end up being sore, right in that side glute area. So again, we're scanning. And once you just acknowledge where those sore spots are, so later you can go back and do those 3 30-second holds on each sore spot. So again, you'd find the sore spot. So for me, there's one there. I would hold 20 to 30 seconds, and then I would roll off of it, find the next sore spot. And if I don't find one, no big deal. I just keep rolling, and then I reverse, and I go back. If I don't find another one, I go back to the one that was sore, and I do another 20 to 30-second hold. So that hold is really important. It's that pressure point therapy on those sore muscle areas that release what's called the Golgi tendon. It lies inside the muscle, And it's the part of the muscle that feels like it gets stuck in that contracted state. So you need to send the signal for that muscle to relax. So that's why just rolling back and forth won't do the trick if you have those sore spots. Now, I don't have a medicine ball handy right now, but if you do have access to medicine balls, if you have a certain part of your glute that lies deep inside, and if it's really hard to get, the foam roller, while it's rounded in one direction, it's flat in the other direction. So if you sit and roll on a medicine ball, you're really going to get into that piriformis area. I know a couple of people at Orange Theory, we've had those conversations. Just make sure you're using a heavy medicine ball. It's denser. You don't want to sit on it and have the medicine ball collapse. All right, we're going to shift over to the other side now. I know I probably spent a little bit more time on this stretch because, like I said, this is a really enjoyable one. So this is something, guys, you have to make the time for. I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time for, I don't have time to do foam rolling. I don't have time for stretching. Just grab your foam roller and sit in front of your TV and do your rolling. So again, we're slightly tipping. So you need to make sure that you are slightly tipping and really rolling on that glute back and forth, finding those sore spots and making sure you do that hold on those sore spots. All right. So again, you're acknowledging where you're sore. Later, you can go back and really foam roll out if you need to. All right, from here, we're going to shift it over into the back. Actually, let's go to the calves next. Let's go to the calves. So we're going to be using our upper body a little bit more again. So again, we're going to roll both calves to start. So you're going to have to lift up that body. Now, if that's not an option for you, you're just going to have to bend one knee, and you're going to roll back and forth this way. Now, some of these foam rolling techniques are a little bit challenging to get into the position, and that is where I'll be mentioning again in a future session where the tiger tail will come into play. If it's too difficult to manipulate the foam roller, then the tiger tail is a great alternative to that. So you're lifting yourself up. Again, we're doing both calves at the same time to start. So just rolling back and forth. Now the calves, because they're so far away from the upper body, you're probably not going to be able to roll all the way or you're going to lose that balance. So you really need to kind of do the calves in two different sections. All right, so we're rolling that upper calf first. Again, acknowledging those tight spots, and then reposition yourself. Oh, my calves are tight. Did a 3-mile beach walk earlier today with Amy and Nancy. We had a great morning. Ate at Bear Flag Fish Company, which is really great, down in Corona Del Mar. And then did another couple of miles this afternoon. So my calves are definitely tight. That's sand walking. Beach sand walking is hard. All right, guys, so again, acknowledge where those tight spots are. Now, once you know where those tight spots are, you can go into that single leg where you can really start putting some really good pressure on it. And again, you need to do your own manipulation, whether you're slightly rotating to the side, external rotation, or internal rotation, so you can find where those strains are. All right, so that's the calves. Let's flip it onto, we're gonna hit the back now. So we're gonna stay on our back side, and we're going to do the back. Now, a couple of really key things. Number one, you never roll beyond your lower back over your tailbone into your glutes. We've already done the glutes. Again, don't roll over any joints, and we don't want to roll past the base of our neck. All right, there's another little stretching tool I'll be showing next week that's specifically for your neck. It's a little, it's a very small, spongy type tool that's really going to give the neck a lot of really nice stretching. So we're going to start with that upper back. So you're going to position the foam roller so it's just about even with your armpit. Now we're going to have to use our lower body a little bit. This is where, again, getting into position sometimes can be challenging. Lift up your backside, rolling up to just the top of the shoulder blades, and then rolling to about your mid-back. So the rolling part should be very controlled. If you feel like you're extending yourself too much, then you're going to stop, okay? Because we're going to do the back in two different sections. So we're rolling just to the top of those shoulders and back. So again, you're doing that body scan, acknowledging where you're tight, where you're sore. Now, same thing with the back. If need be, if you're feeling like you're tight on one side, you can roll and manipulate yourself doing a slight rotation so that you can really get into the muscles on that side as well. Now we're going to, from here, we're actually going to go into the infraspinatus. You have a little area in the side part that really helps the rotator cuff and the lats in between where your trapezius and your lats and your rotator cuff all come together. So we're going to roll up in that area. That's really tight. It's really tight for a lot of people. So the area we're working is all right through here. So if you do a lot of rowing, like at Orange Theory, a lot of rowing, and you can even keep your booty down, and you'll really be able to find those areas. When you're doing this on your own, you'll be able to manipulate your body to find those spots. All right, let's go to that other side. So again, we're going to be lifting up first and rolling that upper back, shoulder blade to mid back. Good. And then we're going to lift that arm, lower the booty down, and go into that side infraspinatus area. Good job. So some of these muscles, you don't realize you have them, or you don't realize how tight they are until you actually go after and really start stretching them. Oh, that's very sore. I'm gonna have to go back into that area later today. All right, guys. All right, excellent. Now let's go into that lower back. So this one is a little bit challenging because you do have to start up, make sure it's really up on that lower back, and then get those hands into position and just roll back down to where you had stopped before. So top of the tailbone and then back down. So again, we're scanning, and as soon as you find that area that is sore, you want to do that hold. Now once you're doing that hold, you can put your elbows down, whatever you need to do in order to hold that position. The rolling is challenging to keep your body in good position, but once you find that spot to hold, then you can just support yourself however you need to. All right. All right, guys, it's time to flip it over now. Let's go after the quadriceps. All right, it's another area that can be really sore. Now I need to warn you, foam rolling the quadriceps can be painful, all right? For some reason, the back side, your hamstrings, you're supporting your weight, so you can really kind of control how much pressure's on it. The minute we go into the prone position meaning face down, you're really using all of your body weight. So that gravity is pressing down, pulling that body down. So just anticipate that, be mindful. It's not harmful in any way, it's not unsafe. Excessive foam rolling with a very dense foam roller, like the black one, if you foam roll for one section for more than 10 or 15 minutes, you could bruise. You could break some blood vessels, and you could have slight bruising. That's probably the worst thing that could happen. Other than that, you really can't overdo it. But just be mindful, all right? I have been brought to tears when I'm foam rolling. So again, it all depends on how sore you are. And the best advice is to really make sure that you're doing it proactively. All right, so just like we were when we were on the supine position, the face up position, you're going to use your upper body to manipulate yourself on that rolling. We have both quadriceps on that roller, and we are starting off with the foam roller right at your pelvic region, so right at that pubis bone. And we're going to roll ourselves forward. The toes come off of the ground, and now you're going to run out of range of motion here. So again, we're going to break it down into two sections. We have the upper quadricep, and then we'll have the lower. Good. And when I say upper and lower, it is still one long muscle, all right? It's not, there are different parts of the quadricep. Quadricep, you can guess how many sections there are, 4 parts to your quadricep. However, they do run more than just half. It's not like your core, upper and lower core. Good. So again, we're doing that scan, and you're going to find where those sore spots are. Now, when you find that sore spot, again, you can manipulate yourself. This is where it gets a little bit challenging to manipulate. So where I have one right there, really tight, painful. So just do that 20 to 30 second hold. And again, you're just going to scan. So there's no, when we do strength training, there's definitely a right and a wrong way to do those movements. We want a predictable movement pattern of the muscle. When it comes to foam rolling, each one of us is going to be a little bit different. So you have to figure out where you're sore and how you're going to manipulate your body. All right, and then over onto that other leg. So your other leg, the supporting leg can be however it needs to be to help support you in doing that rolling. Now, if that's just too uncomfortable to get yourself into position, no big deal. You just go back to the double leg. And you're going to get at least 75% of the muscle. All right, so now we're going to take it into that bottom half. So just get that foam roller down, starting with where you had ended, and then going up just to the kneecap. So again, do that scan. If you get to a sore spot, 20 to 30 second hold, 3 times on each of the sore spots. From here, we're going to go over and we're going to foam roll our abductor. So abductor is that outer thigh muscle. It's also where your IT band is located. Now, I'm going to dispel the myth. No, you cannot stretch your IT band permanently, okay? When people say, oh, you're not flexible in your IT band, you need to stretch it. So you can do foam rolling and you can release pressure around the IT band, but the IT band is about as thick as your pinky or your ring finger, and it's made like a rope. It's very sinuous. There's no way you can really elongate it and stretch it like you could a ligament or a muscle. You're not going to gain range of motion and flexibility. Either people have long IT bands or short IT bands or somewhere in the middle with an average one. However, that area around the IT band can become inflamed, can become strained, and that's why it hurts a lot of times when we go into those quote-unquote IT band stretches. All right, so now we're going to foam roll on that area. So the top leg is going to be bent over the bottom leg. You're going to start right below the hip joint, and this is where, guys, be ready for those tissues. This is where the waterworks can start, because this is going to be probably sore for a lot of you, unless you do this on a regular basis. And you're just, again, going to scan down right about there. Midway down is where you're going to really start feeling some tightness. So again, we're going to break this into 2 sections. We're rolling the top half, doing that scan. Now, because this area is usually very sore for a lot of people, I don't recommend 20 to 30 second holds unless you foam roll consistently to a point where you're not really feeling sore for this one. All right, I probably can only stand really like 10 to 20 seconds. I could grit my teeth and stand a little bit longer of a hold on a sore spot, but it really does become quite unenjoyable. So usually right about there. And again, sending the signal for it to relax. And then after we do the top half, you're going to manipulate your body and you're going to come into that bottom half. Again, doing that scan, and then find those areas where you might do an extended hold. But again, probably not the 20 to 30 seconds. Now, if you notice on this, I am letting my bottom leg foot kind of drag and slide across the floor. We're not trying to get an upper body workout on strength here or engaging the abductor, the inner thigh muscle, by lifting that leg off the floor. We want everything that we're foam rolling to be as loose as possible so you can get the best stretch. All right, great job, guys. All right, last couple of moves I'm going to show you. One is, it's for your back, and it's utilizing the foam roller in kind of a different way. We're going to use it to help us do a cobra stretch. So our arms are on the foam roller, and we're going to have the foam roller about your mid-forearm, and you're just going to roll the foam roller away, roll it away from you, and come down, and then lift up and roll it towards you. So this is helping to give you a little bit of an extended cobra pose, really getting into that lower back. So extending and rolling in. Good, one more time. Rolling it out. And rolling back in. You're getting a little forearm stretch there too, but most of us aren't really tight in that forearm. Now, yes, you could do triceps. You know, we can be down here and we can foam roll and all that. I don't really feel it's necessary. Foam rolling is really best for those larger muscle groups. The only exception to that is the calf. Otherwise, think large. So we're thinking quadriceps, we're thinking hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. For these smaller areas, they recover quite quickly, or we can kind of do those more of those static type stretches. Pressure point therapy on these small muscles, again, is going to be painful and you're going to be more apt for bruising. So I really don't necessarily recommend it for that. So guys, that's your foam rolling workout for tonight. Remember, after the live feed is over, it will say posted on my Facebook page, but it's also uploaded to my YouTube channel, FitLife with Kelli, and it will be posted on my website, fitlifewithkelli.com. Tomorrow night, we are going to be using the stretching strap. Now, if you don't have the stretching strap, either run out and grab one or order one on Amazon with next day shipping if there's time. If not, if you could have a very cheap beach towel. Why cheap? The cheap ones are usually very, very thin. So you want a very thin towel that's very long. In worst case, a jump rope. Okay, if you have a jump rope, and I'll explain this all tomorrow, a jump rope will also help do the trick so that you can really get a great stretch. So the stretching strap is going to take the static stretching that we do, and it's going to take it to the next level. So I'm going to be showing all new exercises with the stretching strap that you wouldn't be able to do normally when you're just doing your body weight. So remember, if you don't have a strap, no worries. Grab that jump rope or that long towel and tune in again tomorrow night. It will be at 7:45. So I will see everybody tomorrow night. Remember, guys, share the videos, post a comment, share them to your page. As I've mentioned before, I love doing the videos. I love sharing my knowledge. And if you guys are still leaving the comments and sharing everything, I am more than happy to continue to do them. If at any point it doesn't seem like anyone's needing this information, I'll assume you have what you need, and I'll focus energies elsewhere. So leave those comments and share this for me. Okay, guys? Thanks, and have a great night. Take care.